It's probably true to say that most of you watching today, including myself, don't remember life without the Ford Transit being around. And unlike some Ford models, this is going nowhere because there's an e-Transit, just in case you didn't know. And my learning from it this week was sometimes when I was plugged into chargers, people were kind of going, is that a van? Is that a van parked in a charge? And then I go, oh, it's got a charging port at the front, and a usable one actually, because this can do really fast charging. If you can find a fast charger like I was at today, you'll get from 15 to 80% in less than half an hour, and that is important when time is money and you need to be on the move. If you're charging this on a standard wall box, you'll do it overnight, and it will also do over 11 kilowatts charging if you're using one of the phase 3 chargers at the side of a road, for example. So charging box ticked. They've thought of everything. Before we go any further in the video today, by the way, if you could do me a favor and hit subscribe to the channel, it would be fantastic. Maybe like and share this video if you like what you see. And if you'd like to support us on what is a fully independent channel, you can hit up the link down in the description below, which is buymeacoffee.com/NobbyOnCars. And you can tip us €5 if you've saved you on your journey of buying your next electric van. In this video today, we're going to cover some of the handy little tricks that Ford have included inside this cab to make life for you as the driver a little bit easier. For example, the car has a 68 kilowatt hour usable battery that will give you a range of about 200 kilometers, especially if you're going around town. If you take this thing on a motorway, it's quite a large bit of kit floating through the air, and you're looking at about 31 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So you can quickly work out that that will kind of get you to the 200 if you're doing well. Depending on what spec you go for, you'll get radar guided cruise control. There's 25 different configurations of the e-Transit and the Transit in general. In fact, if you have a look at the Ford website, you can see just how many trim options, model options, fuel options. And this one is right down the bottom because if you're sorting by price, it is the most expensive. You're looking at €67,000 including VAT, and if you go for the more potent 260 brake horsepower, you're going to spend mid-70s. The good news for all that money is Ford haven't just taken out the petrol or diesel engine, slapped in an electric motor and said off you go. They've put in a new rear axle over the back of the e-Transit. It has a different suspension setup, and it's basically not quite from the ground up an EV, but a lot of thought and work has gone into making this quite a refined vehicle to be behind the wheel of and to carry stuff in. Halogen headlights are the standard setup on the car. You're sitting on 16-inch wheels. They're hubcaps. You've got blind spot in this version of the e-Transit. In fact, all versions of the e-Transit come pretty well spec'd. Door doesn't open on this side either, and you can obviously see it is the long wheelbase version of this, which is really quite large indeed. The rear doors bulge out a little bit here, and the only other obvious sign of this is something a little bit different is the e-Transit badge on the back. But the door is still open the exact same way, giving you access from this side of the vehicle. And you've also got your typical side door access also. And with 2 height and 3 length variations, the e-Transit will offer up to 15.1 cubic meters of cargo space. With Ford Telematics, you can find out how much range is left in your vehicles if you have a fleet of them. Using the Ford Pass Pro app, you can set cabin temperature. And as an add-on, you can also spec a power source in the back that will charge power tools. If I'm honest, a couple of grab handles just to get you inside the vehicle wouldn't exactly be a bad thing. Now, this is using Ford's Sync 4 infotainment system, and it's really good. It will, for example, using your phone and connecting to data, tell you what chargers are available around you without you having gone into an app on your phone. Very handy. You can set up your departure times if you want to charge in the morning time or have the car ready to go, or have the aircon on, the heated seats on. Heated seats, yes, these are creature comforts that you get in the e-Transit in abundance. Your dials are very simple, needles, but works beautifully. There's clever stuff around the cabin, so you got drinks holders here, but additional holders all over the place. The door bins are good. There's somewhere to hang your coat or coats or bags or rubbish bags. There's an armrest that you can adjust to whatever height you like. You just reset it back here, And for your Type 2 charging cable and other stuff, you want to hide things out of sight, you can just tilt the seat forward like this, and it gives you access to the floor under both the passenger and middle seats, so that's really quite good. There isn't any ISOFIX going on board, however. You can also connect your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and the Irish radio player is also inbuilt in the settings, which means you can listen to your favourite station on the go and kind of just nearly forget you're driving a van. It's certainly built up, like this steering wheel is what you get in Focus, so they've kind of made it as comfortable as they can. Yes, the plastics are, you know, harsh, but they're durable, and you know that it's going to last a long time. Something else that's really, really useful is this rear view mirror. So you obviously can't see out the back of the cab, but with this you can, and it's really, really good definition. Even at night time, it's pretty good, and you can see if the driver behind you is picking their nose, for example, or just seeing how far or near the car is behind you. It's a little bit misleading in terms of how close a car looks. In this, you've got to use your side mirrors. They have blind spot in them. There's lane keep assist. There's lots of different settings for eco and slippery and normal mode. So if it's particularly wet, you can also dial in the slippery setting on your infotainment system. The version I'm driving today is 180 brake horsepower, limited to 110 kilometers an hour. On a motorway, that's all you're going to want to be doing, to be honest with you, for loads of reasons. One, if you're carrying a load, and two, to try and save some of that range. The steering is good, it's light, and there's enough feedback from it, especially for a van, to kind of give you a sense of where you're going. The safety aids are really, really brilliant. Like the rear view, you'd be lost without it. If that rear view isn't as standard on your van, spec it. It will make all the difference to you, I promise. Just gives you so much more freedom in terms of maneuvering, parking. Now the 360 bird's eye view and the reversing camera is also excellent, so they all really assist in moving and parking. And what is quite a large van at the end of the day. You do also have a few levels of regen braking, and actually just freewheeling down a hill today, I got 2 extra kilometers put back in to the battery, which is nice. On better runs, I've seen like 29 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Normally it's about 31. Bearing in mind there isn't a whole lot of stuff in the back there. I did think of trying to get a load of rugby players, and they're busy doing the Six Nations. And then I thought, hey, a load of kids. But equally I was like, nah, that's not a good look. So I haven't been able to fill the boot with any sort of substantial volume of stuff. I like the way it will beep at you to let you know if you're going over a speed limit, because it has speed sign recognition. Bearing in mind you're going to use your license for your living, if you're driving one of these commercially, then you kind of want to be aware of when you might be accidentally going 5 kilometers over the limit. It is worth noting that the lip at the side of the van as you're getting in, the floor is a little bit higher because of the batteries underneath. So if you do need that extra height volume, it's probably a negative drawback in the e-Transit, but just bear that in mind if you are stacking things really, really high in the back. Well, because it's electric, there's that lovely level of torque always present, and that means when you do have stuff in the back, it's still not going to be the most sluggish of vans in the world. So that's definitely a big plus of driving an EV over a diesel or a petrol. One thing you'll definitely notice is without that diesel clatter all day long, you will feel more relaxed. It's a less stressful vehicle to drive, and as long as you're using it predominantly around town or in zero emission, low emission environments, it really is the best of the best. When you do need to do longer journeys on the motorway, you're going to find yourself pulling over to charge using the public network a little bit, but in 20 minutes with the right charger, you'll put quite a bit of range back into the e-Transit, so you should never really be stuck for maybe 20 minutes, catch up on paperwork, check the emails, and then you're on the road again. If you're sitting there for 40-45 minutes waiting for it to get close to 100% on the charge, then your time is a little bit more constrained. It's very easy to see when you've spent a bit of time with the e-Transit that Ford really have tried to put their best foot forward in terms of making this, well, their best first electric van that they've been able to do. There's lots of things spaced out that you just kind of think it was there to make your life, the driver, a little bit easier. And if you're a business who wants to get into the zero emission space with your deliveries, then the e-Transit is definitely one of the best. So the E-Transit is lots of talk and plenty of action. Ford really have put a lot of effort into making this quite a comfortable van to get around in. A lot of thought has gone into how you can benefit from this being an EV. For that, I like it. Yes, it is absolutely expensive. It is a better range provider than something like the Merc E-Sprinter and something from Renault, but it is worth pointing out that some of the vans from Maxus can deliver a slightly longer charging time. Although I think this is the one you want if your boss really likes you, or you own the company and you want the best in class EV, because as an overall package, I think that's what the E-Transit delivers. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.